Everyone, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to show you how to install a Garmin Mini 2 dash cam in a 3rd gen Toyota Tacoma. Now this setup is very easy. It's plug and play, very discreet, which is why I chose it. I'll get into some of the costs that I spent, a little bit of the features. I'll show you some of the footage as well. So stay tuned. Hopefully it's informative. Let's jump right into it. Who's a good boy? Yes, he's a good boy. So here's what you're going to need for the setup that I'm going to show. First, this is the Dongar Technologies Dashcam power adapter. What this is going to do is it's going to divert power from your rear view mirror to the actual camera here. And the camera here is a Garmin Mini 2 dash cam. And then you're going to need a micro SD card. This does not come with the camera. So this was about $35. The camera was about $140 with taxes. And then this micro SD card, you can get these anywhere from $10 up to $100 depending on the size. I'm going to use a 32 gigabyte one just left over from a GoPro. So all in, you're looking at about $175 to $200 depending on what size you get for the micro SD. Alright, so first things first, what you're going to do is you're going to take your camera and you're going to insert your mini SD card into the side here. If I can get it. There we go. There's a slot right there.
The next step you're going to want to do here is disconnect the wiring from the back of your rear view mirror. This is pretty straightforward. You just pinch this clip here and pull it out. And then you're going to want to grab your Dongar Technologies adapter. And that wiring which you just pulled out of the back, you're going to want to plug that into the adapter. And there's only one slot that it'll fit into, so don't be worried about that. And then take the 12 pin from the adapter and plug that back into your rear view mirror there. That's going to give power back to the mirror. Now we only have one slot left. This is the USB slot. This is what's going to connect to the actual camera. Now the camera came with two USB cables. One was a larger one and one was a smaller one. You're going to want to use the smaller one. That's the one that's going to fit into the camera. So after you have done that, what you're going to want to do is grab your camera and figure out a good spot to put it up on the windshield. You want it somewhere hidden behind the rear view mirror, or at least I did. So you can grab it and just kind of figure out where you think a good spot's going to be. For me, I think a good spot's going to be somewhere right in here. And it has just a little sticky thing on it that you can peel off and just stick on there.
And then the last step, you're going to plug this cable, USB cable portion here, into the right side of the camera. Right there. Okay, let's see, make sure we got power. Yep, got the green light. Okay, red, that means it's recording. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to position it, kind of get it straight, and then I'm going to move these wires kind of out of the way so you don't see them. Okay, got that in place. It's great. You can't see it from my point of view. Let's take a look from the passenger point of view. Okay, as a passenger, this is my point of view. I can't see any cables. I can't see the camera, which is fantastic. So here's the view on the outside of the truck. So now that we got the camera installed, I'm going to show you some footage, and then I'm going to compare it to my GoPro, which has a higher resolution and supposedly a better camera in quality. But you can be the judge of that, so let's take a look.
Here's some footage I took with the camera. It has a 140-degree wide angle lens that captures a large view here. You can clearly see each corner of the truck, and the view actually extends quite a bit beyond that. The resolution is 1080p with 30 frames per second. Now, those specs are not earth-shattering by any means, but I wouldn't want anything less, and I think it certainly gets the job done here. So now I'll pull up some footage and compare it to my GoPro so you can see how that looks. Here we have both cameras set up capturing the exact same clip. The Garmin on the left, the GoPro Hero 10 on the right. It was set to 5K and 60 frames per second. And honestly, seeing them side by side, I was quite surprised. The Garmin is very clear. The contrast is quite a bit more than the GoPro. So overall, I'm quite pleased with the quality.
So now I want to talk about two of the main features that I've really enjoyed with this camera. The first one is voice control. So you can tell it commands and it will do it. I found that better than actually pressing the buttons, because when you press the button, it's extremely loud on the camera and on the video, and it's almost really annoying. And I'll show you a clip here. So you can hear that by pressing the button, your fingers are touching it and it makes that noise. So I found that using the voice control is actually better, so you don't get that noise from touching it. And here's an example of how to do that. Okay, Garmin, save video. So that's a really nice feature that I've enjoyed. You can also give it other commands like take a photo, start and stop the audio, which is really nice, so you can be hands-free and just focus on driving instead of fumbling with the camera. The second feature that I think is really awesome is collision detection. So if you were in an accident, it could potentially detect you being in the accident and record that. And if you were in an accident, you might not be focused on recording the video if something happened. So it would be nice that the camera would automatically capture that, and there is that feature. So if it gets bumped, it will save the video, and I'll show you an example of that. So now I want to show you a little bit of the app. I was able to download it easily and connect my camera to it fairly easy. I had no connection issues. I was able to get in there and download all the videos that I wanted. It's pretty straightforward, intuitive, which I liked. I guess one knock against it is it does kind of feel outdated in terms of the graphics and in that sense, but I mean, that doesn't really matter. I more want it to function correctly, and it does. So overall, I'm really happy with the app. Let me sum up my final thoughts for you. Overall, I'm really happy with the camera. And actually, as I was installing it, I had this thought of, why aren't car manufacturers just including this hardware in new cars today? It seems like an additional feature that they should just include. And I won't be surprised if in the future they do something like that, where you have to pay a monthly subscription to access your photos or something like that, or your videos. But some of the pros of this camera for me are it's extremely small and it was plug and play. That's a big factor for me. I didn't want a lot of wires hanging down in front or having to reroute wires. So that was a big pro for me. The next one being the video quality. As you can see, it was actually really great. So I'm happy with the video quality. The third one being the user interface on the app. I was able to get in and do exactly what I wanted it to do, which was really nice. A con, if I can really even think of one, I guess would be the price. Like I said, it was $175 for my setup. Could range up anywhere to $200 depending on the SD card you get. So there are a lot of options out there, guys, for dash cams, and this might not be the best setup for you. So do your research, find out which one's going to work best for you. But I think it was worth the money in this situation for me. So overall, I'm happy with the camera. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you watching. If you've made it this far, drop me a like, a subscribe, or if you have any questions, drop me a comment and I'll try and answer them. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you next time.